Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie with Paisleys and Polka Dots, and some of you have messaged me and said that you're having a hard time figuring out how to put together our apothecary cabinet. And it's super easy to put together, but there's been a few pieces that everybody is kind of trying to figure out where they go. So I'm going to walk you through this quick tutorial, hopefully, and show you how to do that real quick. So to start off, I spray painted all of these pieces with one coat of black spray paint. And I used the Magnolia brand spray paint because it's like a chalk paint, and I like the way it paints up. And I just spray painted one coat. You can also just use the regular acrylic paints like these and a paintbrush. But I found it really quick and easy just to spray paint the whole piece. So, and then I took a fine grit sandpaper, 150 grit, and I sanded over all the pieces to give them this distressed look. And because I only painted one coat of paint, you can see how you can see different areas of the wood showing through. So, and I like that look. If you want a more solid look, then I would put on, two coats of paint. So I'm going to get started here with, and then after that, I did paint this back piece with the Folk Art medium gray, and this is all in the instructions for you when you receive your kit. There's a full set of instructions. But this is the color I used for this background here, and you want to paint high enough that you can still see the moon, behind the moon right here, and also low enough that this lower piece is going to cover that as well. So but you don't want to paint these slots, these rectangle little pieces right here, because they're going to fit in the base of this right here. And if you get too much paint on these, they may not fit in the slots. But if they don't fit, another thing is that if you find that your pieces are not fitting together, there is a right and wrong side to the wood pieces, especially where they fit in from the laser. So if you find that they don't fit from the back side, this one's actually doing that, no problem. But sometimes your pieces won't fit together real easily. Flip your piece over if that happens to you. Maybe you are working from the back side of the piece of wood, so you definitely want to make sure that you have the front. Okay, so if your piece doesn't fit too well, flip the piece completely over. And if that still doesn't work, then you can take a nail file, a precision file, such as one of these here. Keep picking out a round one. You don't want a round one. Like this, a precision file. And you can sand in the little slots to get any paint that you have out. Or if it swells due to weather conditions or something, you can just sand the little slots a little bit, and your piece should fit in nicely. Okay, so I am going to show you how to assemble this. I'm going to be using the Titebond Quick and Thick glue here because it sets up pretty quickly and it dries clear. So the first thing I'm going to do, and before I started, before I spray painted, I went ahead and I attached this piece to the very bottom. Now there's two base frames. One is bigger than the other. So of course you're going to attach the feet to the larger of the two pieces. And also, if you can see, these two open holes right here are very close to the edge. So this is the piece that is the bigger piece, goes on the very bottom. So I inserted the slot into there, glued it in, and then I glued the 4 little peg feet on there as well, and then let it dry. And I spray painted that after I put it all together. I just thought it would be easier to spray paint around the feet and stuff with it put together. And so then we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue the base on here. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the edges here, right in the corners. Let me get my glue to come down a little bit. So in the little corners here. And this is going to get covered up with the overlays, so you don't have to be too particular with it. Okay, so if you can, hopefully you can see that. The camera will go in focus there. Okay, so now I'm going to attach it in my base here. Now as you can see, these are not in the middle of the board. You want more of the space to go toward the front. This is going to allow for your drawers to stick out and such. So you want the narrower section toward the back. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert this in here and push down nice and tight, like so. And if you get any glue that seeps out, you want to wipe it off. Just get a paper towel and you can kind of just go along the edge there and wipe that off. See if there's any in the back. Yes, there is. And like I said, the glue dries clear, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, I think I just got a little bit of glue right there, but it's not going to matter because it's going to get covered up. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is this piece here, because I'm going to let that set up before we put it on the base. I'm going to attach, let me set that aside a little bit. I'm going to attach this long piece to the top. Just going to run a bead of glue across there. And line up the top edges. Make sure it's all nice and straight. And you want to make sure as this is setting up, the glue is setting up, that your pieces don't shift on you. But it sets up pretty quickly, so you don't have to worry too much. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for just a minute. Now, these two pieces, there would have been 4. Now, I glued them together. There's 4 of these, and I glued them together. These are going to be the spacers for your drawers. So glue 2 sets of them together, like I have here, and then we're going to attach those, the drawer faces to those. These are the drawer fronts. So they're going to make your drawers stick out so that you can put little, like these. You can put these little wood pieces in there, or whatever wood pieces you have, or some foliage or green, fall, Christmas, whatever the season may be. You can put some greenery or foliage in the little drawers. Anything to decorate up your piece, your cabinet. Oh, I guess this is, I was thinking this was the other cabinet. No, you're going to want fall or Halloween foliage in there. I take that back because it is a Halloween piece. We do have a regular cabinet, so that's what I was referring to when I said any kind of, however you want to decorate it. We have an everyday cabinet as well. Okay, so I'm going to line this up. I always keep a moist paper towel nearby in case I get any glue on my hands too. Then I can wipe them off. Okay, so just glued that right onto the top there, and I just got it to shift, so I want to make sure it's nice and straight. I usually like to stand these up, make sure they're good. They're nice and even. So I'm going to set that one aside. Let's put the other drawer on. It doesn't matter which way these go. There's no front and back to these. You can do either one. Put some glue around the edge. And put the front on. Now give it a good press so it really disperses the glue on the piece on your piece. Okay, and I'll let that one set aside. Okay, I think we can probably go ahead and put, oh, actually, I'm going to put the base on last. This one has already set up. So now what we want to do is we're going to put on the top up here, and we're going to attach the bottom down here. And then we're going to put on, I think this is the piece that everybody gets confused about. They say, I have an extra piece, I don't know where it goes. So, and then the middle piece is going to go in the middle. But you want to put your top and bottom sections on first. So let me go ahead and put this one on. Give it a good press down. You can even hold it for just a minute so that it sets up. Like I said, this glue sets up pretty fast. Okay, that way you have, when you put it on, you have a nice even edge down there at the bottom. Can you see that? Okay, so now we're going to put on the top piece. Again, line everything up. You want to line up the top edge. I just kind of feel along the edge with my fingers, make sure that it's, and really press the sides down and the center down, and just kind of hold it for a minute. You can even use, sometimes I use those tiny little clamps. I think I've showed them in other videos. They look like this. Let me see if I can find one here. These. If you want to use something to hold things together, you can use these little clamps. You can find them at like the dollar store or something, and they work really good as well. But with this glue, like I said, it sets up pretty quick, so you really don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, I'm going to hold it up. I think I'm going to use the clamps right here just to hold it in place. Now, when you use these clamps, you definitely have to make sure that your piece does not shift on you as it's drying or as you use these clamps to hold it on, because sometimes they will shift, and you don't want to have your piece not fitting right in the end. I'm pretty particular about the way my pieces fit together, so I like them to be kind of precise. Okay, so now we're going to put in the centerpiece, which is this, our spider web, the two cupboard cabinet doors here. And I did leave some spacing between the two. They don't fit completely flush against the top and the bottom. There is a little tiny bit of space between the cabinet and the doors. Why I did that, I don't know. I just thought that sometimes, there's spacing between the cabinet doors, and I just kind of liked that look, so I left it that way. So, okay, let me glue this one down. I'm going to go around all the outside edge so that I make sure that those edges are going to be locked down tight. Okay, and there is this is the same size on the top and the bottom, so it doesn't have a top and a bottom. It's however you put it on. Okay, so you line these up as well. Give everything a good press down. And if any of the glue seeps out from the spider web, don't worry too much about it. Like I said, it dries clear, so I don't worry. I do try to get off whatever comes out on the sides, but as far as it seeping out underneath any of these little spider webs here, I just leave it. It will dry clear, and you won't see it. You won't notice it in the end. Okay, now this probably should be set up enough that I can take those clamps off. Just going to give it a minute to set up here. This piece here is for, you can cover this with your fabric, or depending upon what size your cross stitch piece is, you can just glue it over the top of this as a dimensional piece, so that you can put maybe a circle in the center or a smaller piece that is going to show this section on the outside edge. That's what this is for. It's just an overlay to give it more detail and to give it dimension from this bottom spiderweb piece. And it also gives the appearance that the doors are fully, open, or goes all the way through, I guess I'm trying to say. So it'll get glued over the top like this. Now in your kit, you have two options for the top. You have the Salem 1626, which is the one I'm going to attach to this one, because the Salem Sisters cross stitch piece is going to get attached to this. Now you can use magnets. You can use those thick rare earth magnets I get them on Amazon, and they look like this, these big, and they're really super strong. So you just saw how that just jumped right out of there. And so I use these, and you can attach one to the back side of your cross stitch piece. Let me grab this here. This is the piece that I'm going to have on it. So you can attach a magnet to the back here, and then the other magnet will go all the way through the cabinet, and you can use it to take the cross stitch piece on and off if you want to change it out to another piece, say next year or a few years after you have this cabinet. So it's really a versatile piece and can last you a long time if you use the magnets and want to change something out. This is the piece I'm going to attach to here. Now you also have another option in your kit to use the bat and the moon. Or is it a star? I think it's, yeah, it's the star. I don't have it here in front of me. I can't remember what it was. Old age, I guess. I can never remember hardly anything, or go in a room and think, why am I in here again? Maybe some of you can relate. Okay. So there's that, and then next we can attach the drawers at the bottom. Okay, put some glue on the bottom here. And I'm going to pull this off the table for a second because my base is making it uneven. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see what I'm doing in the video here, but I want to hang it off the edge of the table so that I can make sure that my piece is sitting nice and flat, and with the base attached, it's not sitting nice and flat on my tabletop to make sure it's straight. So I'm just pushing my piece off the edge of the countertop, my tabletop, so that I can make sure that these drawers are going to be evenly spaced and even, because the last thing you want is to put these drawers on crooked, and when you go to stand it up, they're not going to be straight. All right, we are now ready to attach. I went ahead and while I was waiting, pulling it off the table, I went ahead and glued the knobs on too so that I could see that those were straight. Once I'd glued the drawers down, I glued the two knobs on. I also glued on the Salem up at the top. Now we can attach it to the base. Now you want to make sure that this is toward the front when you glue it. So we're just going to put some glue on the bottom here of the base. Kind of put a generous amount on. Okay, make sure that's toward the front, and then we're going to set this right on top and give it a good push down. Now because I have so much glue on there, it might take a little bit longer to set up. Also, it's going to want to slide because I have more glue. So you're going to want to make sure that as it's drying, it doesn't shift on you. The glue does set up pretty quickly, so it just takes a few minutes to hold it in place, enough for it to set that it's not going to shift on you once you have it all laid out properly. And I just keep checking it. Okay, so it's all done, and hopefully that makes sense to where all the pieces go, and it puts your questions to rest. If you still have more questions, you can reach out to me at info@paisleysanpolkadots.com or put a comment in the box below and I can answer any questions you might have. Again, you can use these little drawers to put in little trinkets and treasures. I put some green or the gray moss in here with these. Oops, I'm moving my piece here too much. It needs to set up longer. And it makes it look wonderful with the cross stitch piece on it. I'll show you what it looks like. This is the cross stitch piece here. And they look great with that. And like I said, I need to stand this up because my base keeps moving. But I wanted to show you what it looks like with that. So that's what it's going to look like when it's all done. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.